Welcome back to Conversations with Boston School Psychologists, building safe and supportive schools one conversation at a time, where we spotlight the people, practices, and partnerships behind behavioral health in Boston Public Schools. Today, we are excited to welcome Arabiye Artola Bonanno and Pravash Kumar, our current HSP doctoral students, to talk about their experiences as being doctoral students in the Boston Public Schools. BPS is the only school district in Massachusetts that has a doctoral-level training program within a school district. We are proud that BPS program was recently awarded APPIC status. So, thank you so much, both Arabiye and Pravash, for coming on. I can't wait to get into these questions, but before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourselves? Starting with Arabiye, tell us a little bit about your professional background and just a little bit more about yourself in general. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I am a school psychology doctoral candidate at Northeastern University. My professional interests in general, or my research interests, are in examining effective professional development and coaching practices, evaluating MTSS structures, and also focusing on educator and student well-being.
Cool. Hey, and by the way, I was a Northeastern alum, so go Huskies. I love that you're from Northeast. Go ahead, Pravash.
Yeah, so I did my master's in Nepal in clinical psychology, and I really wanted to work with kids. Then, I applied for the school psych program in University of Missouri, so I did my doctoral training there, and now I'm with BPS. Doing my internship. Yeah.
Wonderful. So you started out in Missouri and now you're here in the Boston Public Schools.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Awesome. Well, so glad to have you both on. And why don't we dig into this first question? How has your training in a school district allowed you to bridge the gap between research and theory and real-world application? Go ahead. We'll start with Arabiye. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think working in a school is a really unique experience. I think being in a doctoral program, you're trained to be both a scientist and practitioner. And so you really bring both of these lenses into your own practice. And I think working in a school, you really have to consider how important those contextual factors are when you're doing research and when you're implementing different types of interventions. I find that it's kind of a challenging and tricky balance to find between implementation fidelity and thinking about feasibility. And so being in a school, doing my internship at a school site, I really get to see how different school sites kind of find that balance between trying to do something as structured in research and also trying to do something that really makes sense for their community and their school. And for me, I think I genuinely enjoy kind of being a part of that bridge. I've always said I really want to be that bridge. I want to be able to connect research and practice. And so getting both of these perspectives throughout my training has been really valuable.
Very cool. Pravash, do you want to answer that question as well? Go ahead.
Yeah, to me also, I have similar kind of experience. When we are in university, we read a lot of theories and do a lot of coursework, and we imagine that, okay, we do X, Y, Z thing, then we have to see the result in a perfect way. So when you come to the school setting, you feel okay, you can apply those theories, but for example, if you are doing assessment, you can't just think about the moment. Student comes with lot of experiences, it can be traumatic experiences or related to family issues, or they might have so many things. So the thing is, when we work in a school district, we need to kind of adjust. We can't just simply pick the ideas and just implement it. We need to adjust, we need to read child as a whole, and so that you can serve your student better. So that is how I have seen get ideas and read the student and adjust those ideas, skill, and do better for the kids.
Absolutely. I think these are really good answers, and it's made me kind of want to hear more about what your research interests are, because it sounds like you're both very passionate about bridging this research to practice gap. And so what are your areas that you're passionate about, and what areas do you want to bring to the school district that are in theory, that are in research, and you're trying to bridge into the school district, Boston Public Schools, that you're working with right now, starting with Arabiye?
So my research interest kind of evolved a lot while being in my program, but I found myself really enjoying the research in professional development. So my dissertation was on implementing an MTSS structure for providing professional development to paraprofessionals. And that was a really interesting experience for me because I feel like, again, you do a lot of research, you do a lot of reading when you're doing your dissertation, you put in a lot of work to designing a project that you hope turns out well, and then you get into the moment and you're implementing this and you find yourself having to make adjustments because it just doesn't work, for the context or the setting that you're in. So for me, it was really fun to kind of be able to apply all the things that I had learned, particularly with MTSS and evaluating MTSS structures, and figuring out we understand that what are the most effective practices in professional development. We understand that coaching is a really important part of professional development, but I think it's often really difficult to think about, is this feasible? Can we actually implement this? And could we do something like this at a larger scale? So my research project was at a much smaller scale, but it's something that I would hope to kind of bring and scale up in the future.
I can tell you that that is an awesome passion of yours, and it's also a passion of mine, as well as Andrea Amador's and many other school psychologists in the Boston Public Schools. Maybe not specifically with training paraprofessionals, but professional development in general is something that a lot of school psychologists are passionate about. And volunteering for an association like the Massachusetts School Psychologists Association, where they're putting on professional development conferences to train school psychologists. So I'm just curious, have you attended any of the Massachusetts School Psychologists Association meetings that they've had? Because that would be a great thing to get involved in as well.
Not. I think I've mostly done the national level.
Cool.
And I would really like to get more involved in the state level. It's something that has always been on kind of like my to-do list. And I feel like as I have more time, it's something I want to get involved in, especially this year. I feel like the department really encourages you to get involved, which is really nice. So
that's great. That's great. And glad you're doing it at the national level too. That's fantastic. Go ahead, Pravash. What are your research interests?
About my research interest, I think I should go back to my childhood, like in Nepal. Still there is rampant corporal punishment. They either it's at home or school, students, children, they get a lot of physical punishment, all those things. And when I chose psychology as major in undergrad and then grad school, I was really interested in those adverse experiences that children face. And I did my dissertation in adverse childhood experience and also the behavioral problems related with those things. And there was an interesting finding, even though the students who had more adverse experiences, they had less behavioral problems. And at that time, I didn't have any reason to explain, but I found one research, maybe it's from Colombia, I guess, and they have mentioned that if you have protective factors, for example, it can be relationship with trusted adult or something like that. If you have that, or if you have enough resources, then that could help minimize those problems. So now my dissertation topic is based on student-teacher relationships, so it's kind of continuity of that. So I want to see how those kind of relationship helps in mitigating those behavioral problems, even though children, they have been through a lot of adverse experience, because we can't change the past. What has happened, it's happened, but we want to minimize the bad impact of those things. So I'm currently studying protective factors. So these are kind of my research interest currently.
That's fantastic. And I do find it really interesting that at the root of it, your original interest was, they had corporal punishment when you were growing up in Nepal, and it sounds like that got you interested in like there's got to be a better way to help curb behavior than corporal punishment. Let's go to the next question. What has been the most rewarding experience you've had while working in a school setting?
So, to me, I think the most rewarding experience is I get to see the kids every day. Like I can talk with them, I can see the progress, like every time I meet, and then also like I get opportunity to work with like admin team, other school psychologists in the building, and the most important thing is like when you like see a case and for example you are able to like do the intervention and get the great result, like it's not only your win, it's a teamwork thing. And on the flip side, for example, sometimes you try hard but you don't get the result you want, at and at that time too, like you won't have to feel alone, like it's a team thing, so there will always be people to support you even though things doesn't go as you have planned. So that like collaborative teamwork and getting to see the children like every time, I think that is the most rewarding experience for me.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Arabiye, do you want to add what your most rewarding experience is in the school district?
Yeah, I feel like my response is pretty similar. I think I've really valued the relationships I've been able to build, like
Yes.
with other educators, with students, with families. Like Pravash was saying, getting to be a part of a team and getting to learn from different areas of expertise, I also feel like is pretty unique to schools. Like I know for me personally, my practice has really benefited not only from learning from other school psychs, learning from teachers, learning from, speech and language pathologists, learning from BCBAs, learning from academic interventionists, and getting to work together and pulling all of these areas of expertise to really support a child is really wonderful and really, really nice experience. I think also working in a school can just be fun. Like you get to, I don't know, I think you get to tap into your inner child just a little bit. You get to be creative, you get to be fun. You're building these moments of connections with others. And it's really nice. It's really nice to be a part of a community, I think. And so you're doing the hard work, but you're also getting to have fun while you do it. So.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And you're going into it with the right mindset, with the right reasons. Educators are most motivated and are most able to sustain their work because they're doing it for the kids and they want to be the biggest positive impact that they can possibly be for the kids. And it's fun. You're right. It can be creative. It can be fun working with kids. And so it can be very rewarding. And so that's fantastic. And I think this segues nicely into the next question, which is, I was curious to know, like, what do you want to do next with school psychology? So are you thinking more like the professor route? Are you thinking more working in the school district? Oh, are you thinking elementary, high school? There's so many options in school psychology. So I was just curious, why don't we start with you, Arabiye?
Sure. I think this experience really just reaffirms my own career goals of wanting to work in schools and work with schools. So I originally come from having like a public health background. And so I've always been thinking about like how we can set up strong systems to support all students. So in this experience, it's been really cool to see the different ways that a school psychologist can be involved in system level work, whether that's being, at the district level or getting to be at a school and thinking about how different types of leaders across a district are advocating for their students. So that's one of the things I really loved about this internship experience is that we do get to be a part of behavioral health services and see how, things work on a larger scale at the district and how those big decisions are impacting schools and students. But then you also get to be a part of a school, you get to be a part of the team and thinking about, okay, so now that we have, now we can make decisions that make sense for our specific community. So that's been really fun for me to think about what my career could look like as someone who wants to be involved in system level work, the different ways that, I could be involved in system level work and that I could see myself as being a leader, whether that's at a school level or at a district level.
Absolutely. Fantastic answer. That is phenomenal. Pravash, go ahead.
Yeah. So to me, like before I came to BPS for the internship, like I only had two things in mind. one thing I will do like counseling. Like I like counseling a lot. And the other thing is like I like teaching. I have done so many years of teaching in Nepal. So still I have that interest in me. But now after coming to BPS and after getting this unique experience in working at central office, now I am also more interested in like system level work. Um like when you are at central office, like you get to see how many things you have to manage, like when you go to a school, yeah, there you can see some of the things like going in that particular school, but you can't see what is happening in like, for example, 100 different schools, like, and how resources are allocated in like different schools, and how do you handle all the mental health providers. I mean, in terms of like how many times you provide PD, or like how many like times you, I mean, like there are a lot of issues. I mean, when people work in a school, they have a lot of issues, right? And they come to the central office with a lot of things, and you have to handle. So looking all of those, and how Andrea is working in central office, I'm really, I know it's difficult task, but this has been added to my bucket list to work sometime in the future, like being in the central office and working.
Being more of like a supervisor type role where
Yeah.
you can help support school psychologists across the district. That's phenomenal. That's great. And something to strive for. Absolutely. So as you know, Boston Public Schools is extremely diverse. And so, for this next question, what have you learned about working across cultures and with diverse student populations in the school setting? Let's start with Pravash.
So this question is interesting. I like this question. So, when you are working in like diverse culture setting, it really stretches your mind. You can't be rigid. You have to be flexible, all the mind, open-minded. And the most important thing is you need to pause, you need to reflect, and be humble as much as possible. Like when you are humble, when you are polite, then people open up and you get chance to learn more about the other people. And when you learn more about other people, then you will also get that encouragement. I think also like maybe the confidence, like how you want to talk with the other people. So pause, reflect, be humble, polite, and be open so that people talk with you, and so that like you can help them more appropriately. So that is something I have learned working in like diverse setting.
Love that. Thank you, Pravash. Go ahead, Arabiye.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I have really enjoyed working in a district that has such diversity and where diversity is really valued. And it's something that I feel like is really prioritized as well. And so I feel like I've really gotten to learn what it means to make things accessible. Like I think we talk a lot about making things accessible to all students, but I've really gotten to see what it means to make things accessible to all families of different backgrounds, to make sure that things are accessible to students with different abilities. And so that's something that I've really appreciated. I feel like diversity is something that's really celebrated here. There are a lot of different opportunities to learn. There's different committees that you get to be a part of to help support students of different backgrounds and different abilities as well. And just making sure that students and families are receiving services in a way that's meaningful and inclusive. I feel like I've gotten to see that definitely at the district level and at the school level. At the district, I've gotten to see like how much they value having bilingual and multilingual school psychologists and making sure that we have psychologists that are representative of the families that we work with. Also, making sure that all communications are available in multiple languages to ensure that all families are able to kind of access the information being shared. At the school level, I've gotten to see, when we're thinking about tier 1 supports, of something that's universal, we want to make sure that that's accessible to students of differing abilities and different language abilities as well. And so that's something that I've really appreciated because I just feel like that is just ingrained in everyone and everyone's practice. And it's just such a priority here. So that's been really unique and really fun for me to learn from.
That's fantastic. I think we are spoiled here in the Boston Public Schools having fantastic diversity, and it actually makes you grow stronger. And so it definitely helps you grow as a school psychologist, helps you think more in a complex manner about assessing students from different backgrounds, from different languages, things like that. So that's fantastic. For our last question, how has training in a school district setting helped you see bigger issues in education, like equity or resources across schools? Let's start with Arabiye.
Yeah, so I feel like I've really appreciated getting to work with such motivated and passionate school and district leaders, because I feel like in a district that's this large and in a very large urban district like Boston Public Schools, there's going to be a lot of challenges. But I feel like I've really been able to see and feel this energy that these challenges don't stop folks from doing the hard work. If anything, it motivates them even more to be creative problem solvers. And so I've gotten to learn a little bit while I've been here about the, history of behavioral health services and how it came to be and how much it's grown from when it was, I think, a really small department, and now thinking about having over 100 school psychologists, and having like a larger, leadership team as well. And thinking about all the work that goes to that to make sure that we're able, as a district, provide the services and serve this community to the best of our abilities. And so a lot of the times it looks like, advocating at different levels, creating community partnerships. It's been really fun to see the different types of community partnerships that Boston Public Schools has with universities that are local, as well as with different community partners, just to make sure that, again, that Boston Public Schools is able to provide all the services that are needed. And, there's still a lot of challenges and there's still things, roadblocks that get in the way. But I find constantly people are working really hard to make sure that the challenges don't stop them.
Absolutely. School psychologists and educators across Boston Public Schools are very resilient, and we've found a lot of different creative ways to help, for example, increase and address the shortage of school psychologists, improving the number of school psychologists. Back in 2010, it was about 48 school psychologists. Now it's 105. And so there's been a lot of different creative ways of how do we make school psychologists have a more comprehensive role, and how can we advocate for more school psychologists? So we've made tremendous progress over the years as well. Pravash, do you want to add to that answer?
Yeah, I really liked Arabiye's answer. And to me, if I was placed in a single building, maybe I'd be more focused on the required resources only in that building. But working in a central office, I have realized that, okay, when we talk about equity and allocating different resources, it doesn't mean you have to give same thing to all these schools, right? Even though it's in the same school district, different school has their own needs. And yeah, so the thing is assessing the need, that is one challenge. And once you assess the need, you need to allocate the resource you have. You don't have infinite funding. I mean, you need to pick.
Funding is a big issue. You're absolutely right.
You need to pick which is which school has really dire situation, let's say. So we need to find that and allocate the resources. So challenge is there. I think if we have more funding, I think most of these issues could be addressed. But right now, I think we can do the best is try to assess the need in best way and try to find which school need the most and allocate the resource.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very astute observation. You don't want to just have a cookie cutter template for each school, give them all the same resources. You want to individualize the resources based on the need and based on the specific demographics of the school. For example, elementary versus high school, the resources are going to look very different when it comes to mental and behavioral health. And before we wrap this up, I'd like to end with something fun. So I was wondering if you both would like to share a fun fact, starting with Arabiye. Go ahead.
I started driving for the first time when I started my internship. So I've
And when was that?
Sorry?
When did you start your internship?
Well, I guess I started a month before to kind of ease myself into it. So that would have been June of this year. And I'm very proud to be a Boston driver. So that's my fun fact of this year.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, for me, it was the exact opposite. The 8 years I lived in Boston, did not drive once, took the T everywhere. And then ever since then, just been driving everywhere. And so for me, it's been the polar opposite, but that's awesome. Congratulations on making that step towards driving around. That's great.
Yeah.
And Pravash, what is your fun fact?
So my fun fact is like when I was in Nepal, I used to impersonate Michael Jackson. And I did it for like maybe 4 or 5 years.
But that's really cool. And I do have a question. Where would you be where was this in like a public square that you'd be dancing to Michael Jackson? Like, I feel like I want more details of what this even entailed.
Okay, so I haven't danced like after I came to the US, but like in Nepal we used to have like program, and like there is what is called like a big hall. Like people do a lot of programs, and they like to invite people, and like let's say like it's a kind of like cultural program, and one of the dance activity, like they invite so many people, and one of the person would be me, and like even though they wouldn't give me money, I would go and dance. I mean, yeah, and
it's a fun thing.
Yeah, there is still like 100 people. I just want to build that confidence.
Cool.
And yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Just to add a little fun fact of my own, I did start picking up salsa dancing this year. So on the theme of dancing, I've been big into salsa dancing this year. My wife has been salsa dancing her whole life. And so I'm trying to get into it, trying to catch up. And so, yeah, that's awesome. I love your 2 fun facts. Those are both awesome fun facts and a really great way to end the episode. And thank you both so much for being here. I am so impressed with both of you. You are going to go on to do amazing things in school psychology, and you have a great mindset of doing it for the kids, and great research interests, very interesting passions that you both have. And so kudos to both of you, and thanks again for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your experiences too.
So it's been fun. Thank you for listening to the Conversations with Boston School Psychologists, building safe and supportive schools, one conversation at a time. Please follow us on our socials, Boston School Psychs, and visit our website, bostonschoolpsychs.com, to learn more about our work. Join our next conversation to learn more about resources and tips for creating safe and supportive schools. Thank you.